Welcome to today's session. So we are still in phase one on this journey, the cloud engineer journey. And today we'll be working on the Linux file system, Linux file system. So far in this journey, we are here. We already have set up all the other good stuff, which you can get from the GitHub repo that I'll be linking in this video. Start from session 01A, B, C. We are currently on session 02A, and you can also watch the videos to guide you. You need help. So you have your terminal and your manager sends a message. Before we let you, remember we are working as an employee at VOH. So before we let you near any of our servers, we need to understand how Linux organizes files. On Windows, you have the C drive and the D drive. But on Linux, it works completely different. Read the briefing below and then complete the lab. We'll be creating, organizing files exactly the way our sysadmins do when they set up a new server. So this here is the ticket you get from your manager and the new employee. So at the end of this session, we will have learned all this stuff right here. You'll be getting this file in the GitHub repo that I'll be putting in the link below in the comment section. So the Linux directory works on Windows, files live on drives, right? But on Linux, everything lives under one roof. So this is kind of like how the structure is. Let me put it down. So everything originates from the root folder, this forward slash right here. So everything is from the root folder. So this is the root, and then every other folder comes from the root. The bin, the etc, etc, home, var, tmp, and these are the contents of this folder. So within this folder, there are other folders, and then there are files. Right? So folder files. Folder is like a folder that you're holding, and files are like the files within the folder. But you could also have folder within a folder, but you can't have a file within a file. So as a cloud engineer, you will spend most of your time in this space, which is your home or your home folder, where that's your personal workspace. That's the place where if a new employee comes in, you are told to create them as a user on the server. This is where you create them and give them a home and a personal workspace. Then the etc is where the configuration files live. So within the etc, there are also folders and then files within the folder. Then the var log, where all your logs live, the system logs, the application logs, everything you do on the system logs into this location. And then you have the OPT where you install and run custom software. So remember, all these are folders. They are not drives like in Windows. They are file and folders. So the absolute and relative path. For an absolute path, you have everything starts from the root, like I showed in this screen right here. Everything starts from the root. So for absolute path, you're going to give the full direction to the location you're going to. So like in this scenario, but let's just do a little bit of title here. So right now I'm here. I'm inside this folder, VOH Cloud Pro. Let me see what is within. So I see that I have. So I have these blue ones are the folders, and these are files. So let's get to the question 01A. No, that's doing smaller. So let me see, let me see. Okay. You see it has moved from here to another folder. So if we do ls, you see readme, but you can't cd into readme, but cd means change directory. So let's say now we go all the way back and we want to get here. We want to get to this location. So to do that, we have to do CD. So if we are doing an absolute path, we have to do VOH-Session 01. So this is absolute path. This is actually a short form, but yeah. So you have to type the full process to get to this. But a relative path, let me see if we could get something that has a folder within a folder. Let me pick another. Um, this has multiple folders. Mm, 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 okay. Um, so now we see folders tested. So within Terraform, we have the file. Okay. Let's say we want to go back to this location. We want to go back to Cloud Field Engineer Lab without going through the absolute path. So we are going to do cd dot and you see we are back there. You really need to type cd and then that. Okay, so this is like the relative path. You start from where you are currently. In fact, let's do another round. So let's say we want to CD into session 4, right? I'm at session 8 right now. I want to CD into session 4. So we could do CD dot, which is dot means go back one step, right? So right now, if I click enter, I will be here, right? So I go one more step because I want to get here so that I can get to session 4. Because session 4 lives inside the cloud field engineer lab. It doesn't live within this session 8 folder. So I do one step back, and I still do the forward slash, and then I do session 4, and there you go. So now I've moved from session 8 to session 4 using the relative path. So I didn't type, let's say we're moving back, let's move back to section A using the absolute, this time is called the filter sign. It's simple to is a shortcut from your home directory. So let's say we move, let's go to another directory and then we'll try and move back to this directory. So you'll see uh, so you see, we moved from this folder to another folder and into multiple folders. So now let's say we want to get back to VOH Cloud Core. So to do that, you are going to use tilde as a shortcut. So cd change directory, you put home, the tilde sign, forward slash VOH, and there you go. So it takes us all the way back to this location because the tail that is your home, and this is our home. This is the home location, right? So it took us back all the way. So now the last session, you need to see here, which we already in the folder. So we're going to be installing the system. So you just look at the root directory, look at the home directory. So let's run some of this command. Try and type the command instead of copying and pasting. So see the root directory like I showed up there, that tree. You see the bin, etc, dev, home. MNT, OPT, some of those directories that I showed up there when I showed the tree structure. So that's a directory. You can also look at the home directory, the folder. So this is the home directory. So inside the home directory, that's actually where this directory also lives in, where we currently are. This is also is living inside the home directory. Okay, so let's look at the config directory. Just look at because so the configuration directory is a very sensitive directory, so it's not something you want to mess with. Okay, so you see you have a lot of configuration folders and files within this space. Let's clear the screen. And then we look at the var/log. So this is what we have. So on the log files. Now we check where we are, pwd. So we are here, home, my name, and then the directory where we currently are. Okay, so now we're going to be creating the project structure. Your manager has asked you to create a standard folder structure that VOH chooses while setting up a new project. Follow the specification below. So a new project is about to start, and you have been asked to set up the directory structure, folder structure. Remember, I said folder directory. You can use them interchangeably. So to create this structure inside VOH, so this is the structure we are creating. So you see from home, we are here currently, but inside here now you're going to be creating another folder. And you're going to be creating project. Then under projects, you're going to create another folder. So whenever you see the / in front of the name, that means it's a folder. So you're going to be creating this, and then within project, you're going to create VOH infra. And then within VOH infra, you're going to create these 4 folders: configs, logs, script, and docs. So create the top level. So the top level folders are this one right here. So let's go ahead and do that. So we are going to do say make directory as a command. -p means parent. So it means that we are creating not just one. If you just do make directory and give a name, you're just creating one directory. But when you put -p, you're basically saying this directory is going to be a directory inside another directory, like parent. It's going to have children beginning. So from the home directory, you could actually jump this particular step because you're already in this location. You're already in this location. But because that's what's on the script, let's just go ahead with it. So we do project. You have to type out project because we haven't created the directory before. For this other one, I just did tab and it finished it off. So we do VOH-infra. I have to type this in full as well because we haven't created it before. And then config. So config. So there you go. So we enter, and then we also click the next one with the speed and my home directory. So now we're going to be target to finish. Remember, we already created project, so we can just do PRO, we finish it for us because now we created it. Then we can also do VO, and VO infra will complete because we created it before. But if you do logs, you can't complete. I'm clicking on tab. Why? Because I haven't created logs directly before, so I have to click it. And it lives inside the infra, just that structure that I just showed. Then we take the next one, -2 from home, 0 complete, tab complete, project to tab complete, 0, tab complete, and now have to write script in full, but I haven't created it before. Then next, we do 0, 0, 5, and dots. Great. So yeah, so this also the script or the MD file also explains some of what we're doing, what the key dash screen is. So if we were to ls, you see the four folders we just created. So we also do cd into project, then we run the command three to show it the same thing there. Office, docs, log script. Let's go back one step and run the three commands from the project station. So you see, VOH, config, the five directories in total. So far, we haven't taken any file. So the script we are going to see, you're going to see it. So we're good to go. So now we're going to create and write files. To create a project README file inside Docs, we are going to be creating a file in this location. So we're going to be using the touch command. Touch command, we use touch command to create a file. You could use cat command. You could also use nano, vi, or vim. But you could also use echo to input things inside the created command. So first of all, let's create the file using touch. So we touch, because we're already in project, let's not move away from here. You can do it from here. So we do uh, we're already in project, so touch into zero infra docs, and then you have to type readme, but we don't have readme for now. It's a file. Readme. Case sensitive, remember, Linux is case sensitive. So to do that, you see, we have created a file. So if you run 3 now, you see we have a file under docs. Okay, so now we're going to input something using echo. So you could use different, there's other methods to input something inside the file, to write content inside the file. But for here, we're going to be using the echo command. So I'm just going to copy this. You type it out, write it out. So it helps to build muscle memory. And then when you get those errors on the CLI, you learn from those errors. Just copy that out and paste it here. So it says echo VOH infrastructure project into this file. Okay, so because we're already in project, if we do it like this, it's still gonna work. But you could also remove this and this. It's already in project, right? You could also start from VOH infra docs and then into the readme file. So our script also explains what's going on here. Okay, it explains to you what's actually happening. So add a second line. So to add a second line, if you notice, right, this this is one is just showing the symbol, the redirect symbol. So this greater than symbol, it's putting this information into this file here. But if you go ahead and type it without making this symbol two, notice here is just one of it, but here is two. If you don't make it, if it's not true and you take managed by VOH Cloud team and you post again into this readme, what's going to happen is that there's going to be substitution, right? This text is going to substitute this text that you initially inputted. That's why they are double arrows. They are double greater than sign. If it's single, it will just substitute. But if it's double, it adds. So adding a single line, which appends instead of replacing. Okay, you could actually look at it here. Let's cat. So cat is the command to see what is inside the file. So let's cat the readme. You see what we imputed, VOH infrastructure project. right here. But now, let's say we copy this. So copy that there, and then we make it a single arrow instead of the a single arrow instead of the double that we were given, and we click enter. Now, if we cut, you see what happens. This has been replaced by this. So it's no longer saying this, instead it's being replaced. So that's the need for the double arrows, the double greater than sign. Simple. Okay, but so let's do this again. Let's get it back to what it's supposed to be. So yeah, so that is the correct. So if we start again, you see that it's back, it's been replaced again with the correct text. So now we are going to do the correct thing as we skip the direct things. So equal manage um, the thing. Because they will be in project folder, simply do docs. So now if we start with me, you see there are two lines, this and this. Okay, so we keep going. We just echo the next line, the third line now. Still with the greater than symbol in two places, like double greater than symbol. So if we start again, you see we have three lines right now. And we also see that the date has been appended for us, right? It's called command substitution. It's also captured in the script. So even though what was here, what we pasted was create date, like a placeholder for date, right? So limit converts it into the date, today's date, which is July 11th. Okay, so yeah, and then we read the file. You will see all three lines. We already done that. So now to the next, we are going to copy, move, and rename. So we create a draft config file. We're going to be creating another file. Let me see on my screen. So this file actually is still within the VOH infra folder. Let's actually go into that folder. Okay, so here we are supposed to echo. Just copy this. This file. Okay, so now I've created a file called server.conf.track inside the config from key command. So I just created this. Remember when we ran the command before, this wasn't in. So I created this file, and inside this file, we actually have concept server config draft. So if we tax config server, you see what was inside that file. So now we're going to copy it to create the final version. We're going to run this command, the cp command, which copy is going to copy the content, what we have here, into another file right here. So I'm going to copy this, or you know what? It's already inside infra. We don't need to copy all of that. But if you also copy and if you type it out, like I said, it gives us more muscle memory the more you type. Okay? So we do CP, where are we? We are here. Here. So we are going to do CP config server, and then we are sending it to config server. I have to type this out because we haven't created this file before. .com. Right? If you do tab, it's not going to complete because the file is not yet in the system. So we click enter. Now, if we run the three commands, we see that we have the two files, the one we just created and this one. So copy means, you're copying from one area to another area, or from one file to another file. It's the files are still now exist in two locations. So that's what we just did. So if you are to cut before we started this, so right now let's start the new one we just created, which is server config. You see that we have the same thing that we have here in that new file that we just created. Okay, so it says confirm those files with it. We've already done that using the three command. I also use the ls command to do that. Let's follow what it is. Okay, so you see the two files here, this and that. Now we're going to use the move command when we're going to move the com server.com.draft into another new file right here, server.com.draft.bak. So now there's a difference between copy and move. Move means you're going to move that that file into another file completely. So by the time you do that, you see that you completely move it. Copy was you made a copy of it. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Use MD. We're already here. We're currently here. So we just do config. Uh, yeah, we'll do config server.com.draft. And we are moving into, or we're actually moving into another folder, logs. So we already have logs. Remember, we created logs right here. We created the directory. So the directory. We move into logs. But if you notice, logs currently doesn't have any files under it. So we're going to be creating the new file, which is server.com.draft.uk, right? All right. So confirm the move. So to confirm the move, we are going to do everything and see what we see. Okay, great. So now looking at this, looking at this, you see that this file is no longer there. It has been moved to a new file under logs right here, and the file is gone, right? It moved into a new file, the content was moved into a new file, was moved into a new file, and the file is gone. So we no longer see it when we run through command. Okay, so yeah, ls will also show us the same thing that this shows us. I like tree because it's kind of gives a graphical representation. So move also renames the file. So rename the final config. Okay. So let's rename this file. So there's another thing that move does. Move does the mv command. So it also renames files. So in this scenario, it wants us to rename this server.com into VOH-Server.com, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do, and then we're going to do move config server into config. You have to type this out because we haven't created this file before. So want to rename it to this. Yes. And then to run the full command now, you see that it's no longer server.com. So it's now to reach dash server.com. Okay, so now part five, read files in different ways. So we're going to create a longer file to practice reading files. So we're going to use the cat command. So the cat command writes into a file, can write into a file. So right now we're going to be creating a file using the cat command. We're going to input text into that file. So this is actually the file we're going to create, the notes.txt inside the docs folder. So you see the docs folder right here. This is the docs folder right here. So we're going to create this file and we're going to include this text inside it. So this is called the hero doc, end of file. So this is just saying when you use it to create a file, you are basically saying whatever you see after this command, after this simple, everything you see, input it inside this location until you see this command again. So EOF, end of file. So this signifies that this is the end of the file. So we're saying cut into this file all this text and keep putting it inside this file until you see me again, end of file. So that's basically what this command is doing. So for because of what this will give you, I want this video to be a short, it will not be too long. I'm going to copy and paste. So but I'm going to because normally because I'm already here, I could just easily go from here. So let me go ahead and just copy the way it is. Because remember, it has the full symbol, the tilde in its words. You know, copy. So you're gonna get this warning. It's going to tell you, and if you want to paste all of this into your file now, you say yes, please, and then it's gonna show up like this. And, so that didn't work. So I paste back, and then it's gonna show up like this, and I click enter. So right now, if we do 3, you see that we've created this notes.txt. And then if we cut notes.txt inside docs and notes, there you go. You see all this stuff inside notes.txt. So there is really the whole file at once. So that's what we're going to do. Cut. We cutted it, right? So if you want to read it one page at a time, these are usually for long files. Using the left command, you can read one page at a time, but because this file only has a page, it's not really showing the power of the next command because there are some files that have like multiple pages, like the man file. That's the manual. It has multiple pages and other files. So we click Q to get away from there because this takes you to an editor, kind of editor, and then you just click the Q sign, and then that's quit, yeah, to get you out. So here the script also tells you how to go forward, how to go back, and then the Q to quit. Now we could also read the first line, the first 3 lines using the head command. So let's say head docs, node. So giving assign the number of lines you want to read. So dash, let's say 5. So you see how it just gave us 5. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 2. We also use tail. So head up, from up down, then tail is from the last lines on the file. We do tail three dots move. So these are the last three lines in this file. Now, part six is find files, how to find. So let's find all the files that has .md at the end of it. All the files. So it says find within this folder right here, within this VOH Cloud Prod folder, all the files that have with name .md, right? Anything, this is all that has .md. Okay, so let's do that. It's fine. There you go. So every file within this folder that has .md appended to it, that's what it found. You can use this to find. Can imagine where you have like hundreds of thousands of files. The find command helps you to find what you're looking for. Okay. So next, let's go back to go back. So now let's find all files modified in the last 10 minutes. So we are going to do that using this command. So because we're already in this folder, we are not going to put the path again, but we're already here. So we just run the command from there. And we didn't list any files. So we haven't modified any files in the past 10 minutes, right? We haven't, let's say, uh, uh, 1 minute. Okay, yeah, let's say we modified any files. Let's try and modify something. Let's try and modify the file. So let's see file. Um, this is session 02. A. Then I remember why this command, this the initial recording ended. So this is a new thing. That's why it's asking five. So let's just modify something or remove the TXT. Okay. So what I'm trying to do right now is modify something here. We haven't done this portion, which is editing existing files from the editor. So we will use the now to run that command. You see, we have files now. It's showing us the last 1 minute we've modified it. So if we do in the last 5 minutes, it also shows the things that was modified, the files that was modified. Okay. So that's what that command does. So you can change it up different timing, even days if you want. Then find a file by the partial name. So we are going to be finding a file that has the name server on it. Any file. So there you go. So you see this file has voh.server.com and we have server. So any file at all that has server appended to the name is going to show up here. If we were to run, I don't think there's any other file that has multiple names so far that was created. So let's see. Mm, Server that has we can do com. So let's do the there you go. So we have some files, multiple files that have conf as a name. So okay, so now part 7, delete how to deleting safely. So here in Linux, once you delete the file, it's gone. You know in Windows how you delete and it goes to recycle bin, you can go back there and call it back. In Linux, it doesn't work the same way. Once you delete, it's gone. So let's say we're deleting RM, that's remove. RM, we are already in progress. So we need to go from here to logs to server. Yeah, so we're deleting that. So now if we do ls log, no, ls log, see there's nothing else, there's nothing more. If we do 3, you see that logs doesn't have a file anymore. Like here where but still existing. Okay, so that is to confirm that it's gone. Then to delete a folder and everything inside it, you need to append. Remember, we just did the rm command, but now you have to do rm dash rf and then the path to the folder. Because if we try to delete, let's try and delete the logs folder now with just the rm command. So if we do rm infra logs and we click enter, saying this is the directory we can't remove it, right? Telling us we can't remove it. So to delete, like right now, I'm going to be deleting the project folder. Okay, I'm going to be deleting this project folder, but I only want the session file in this location. I only want the session files with their read name because right now the project folder is not supposed to be here. So I'm going to run my screen. I'm going to run the rm dash. Remember so let's do the input project first and run the tree command. You see all the good stuff inside project that we just did. But now if I go back, you have to go back one step because you can't delete a project within a project. It will tell you give throw error. Okay, so we have to do it from a directory where you. So if we go back one step and then we do rm dash rm project, then we need to type all the other stuff. Unless you want to delete a folder within it, not necessarily the current folder, then you have to type the next folder name. But the way it is not right now, if you click enter, it's gone. So if you have to run 3, you see the project folder is gone. So let's do ls, it's gone. You do cd project, you can't even find it. My tab is not working. There is no such file. So all that file, all that folder we created is gone just by running one command. So that's why this command is very powerful because it will delete the entire thing. Never run this. Never run this. RM-rf roots, because this is the root folder. If you run it to delete the entire file system on your Linux OS. That's what delete. Remember this is root, right? So that's the end of this session. Um, Before you move on, confirm you can run all of this without looking at the steps. Remember, what we're trying to do is to get hands-on. Yeah, get hands-on in a way that you don't need to look at your book and stuff. Of course, once in a while, you have to still consult, but mostly you can run some of these commands from the top of your head. That's what we're trying to achieve. So you can be hands-on and you're not just getting certifications and watching tutorials. You're actually doing it, getting your hands dirty and doing it and getting those errors and fixing it. So the next session is going to be on test editors. Remember, I opened the test editor to input steps during this session using Vim. So that will be the next session where I'll be showing us how to do that. Thank you for watching and keep learning.